He's existential. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, that means that God's illogical. You do realize that, right?
No. I mean like existential, like qualifier for logic.
No, an existential quantifier is something like there exists or like for or something like that. That's
Exactly for logic.
What, bro? What are you
Can you not track? Can you not track? I said for logic.
No, that's whatever. Like I don't care. Look, what I'm saying here is if God is logical,
you agree? Tight shit.
wait, if God is logical, then God can't exist. Yes.
Huh?
If God is illogical, then God cannot exist. Yes.
When did I say God was illogical?
If God pre-exists logic, then that means that God's nature is illogical.
I said it's possible he can pre-exist. I never said he does.
It's possible that something illogical can exist.
I mean, if let's say for example he is illogical, but at the same time, think about it, right? He's outside like the whole conception of logic. So that means, wait. Actually, no. Let me actually contend that illogicality is just something that humans cannot rationalize yet. So inherently, illogicality is just logical. Illogicality is just logic if you think about it.
No, that's not what illogicality means, right? Like,
because look. For example, P and not P. Wait. For example,
just hold on. Just wait. Don't cut me off, okay? You said illogicality is just something that humans cannot rationalize yet. I can hold that, like, I don't know, 1,000 years ago, humans could not rationalize that the Earth orbits around the Sun instead of vice versa. That doesn't mean that the Earth orbiting around the Sun at that point in time was illogical. It's simply just beyond our understanding.
It was illogical to humans. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like logicality.
Nemesis. The difference is that illogicality is something that has no meaning inherently, not something that we can't understand. Okay.
Let me explain to you, right? So essentially. Like, let me give you an analogy since you're not understanding my argument. So essentially, all I'm saying is humans cannot understand P and not P at the same time. Therefore, they say it's illogical addiction. I'm saying, right, that it could be possible in reality. That's what we just see it's illogical based on our understanding of life. That's what I'm saying. Something being illogical or logical, they're all just subjective things. So I mean, they're not truly illogical. They're just illogical in like this world. Well, to humans at least. But another possible to be logical.
So once again, you didn't really respond to what I'm saying. Once again, I don't define
you misconstrued my argument, so I had to re-explain it.
Shut up. Look,
you misconstrued my argument, so I had to re-explain it.
Shut up. Look, I don't define logicality that way. So obviously, if you want to say, well, I define logicality this way, then it's stipulative, right? Like, I don't care, right? But under, like, the normative definition of logicality, the argument doesn't work. So we can just conclude there.
What's the normative definition?
Something that is both when you affirm something or something that goes against laws of logic. Let's just say that to keep it simple.
So, like, why would we go by on the basis of that definition?
Because without the laws of logic, you don't have meaning.
How is that definition within the laws of logic?
Pardon?
I said laws of logic and illogicality have two different definitions. I don't see what
illogicality just means not laws of logic. So if something does not abide by the laws of logic, it's illogical. That's
okay. So that can still and the laws of logic is essentially like what we know.
Like whoever finished 9 is, I love you. I hope you have a nice
So essentially what humans cannot rationalize, so it kind of agrees with my definition.
Yeah. What humans cannot rationalize. So how do you know God exists?
Yeah, they already rationalize the laws of logic.
Wait, so how do you know that God exists if you can't rationalize his existence?
I mean, I guess he just what's the name again? I just believe in negative theology. That's why.
That's fucking stupid, right? What people like? Okay, if you want to be like an apathetic theologian, you have to first hold that I don't know. You can describe God in what he's not, but describing God in what he's not is the same thing as describing him in what he is. Like for example, if I say God is not bad, I'm essentially saying that God is good. If God good and bad are bad, so like
you're not even confident in what character you want to take. Like you're stuttering already.
No. How you mean it's binary, bro? It's just a nine element of God.
You haven't answered the question. The question was, how can you know anything about God if you cannot reason to know God's existence?
What?
Look, you just told me.
I think your claim is just a false dichotomy, bro.
No, I mean, you just told me that you cannot rationalize. Oh my God, just let me finish. Look, you just told me that you cannot rationalize God's existence. Yes.
You said what?
You just told me that something that's illogical is something that you cannot rationalize. Yes.
Yeah.
And you just told me that God is illogical. Yes.
He's logical and illogical at the same time.
Okay, so he's illogical. Okay, and if you told me that God's logical, that means that we cannot rationalize his existence. Yes.
Huh?
If God is illogical, that means we cannot rationalize his existence. Yes.
Yeah.
And then how do we know anything about God if we cannot rationalize it?
Yeah, I just told you I believe in negative theology. I think that
negative theology is when you describe God and what He's not. But how do we know what
exactly.
God is?
So in rationalization, we're just saying that we're just minusing a rationalization to God.
Holy shit! How do we know what God is at all? How do we know what God is anything or God is not anything if we cannot rationalize it?
Yeah, I guess we just do it that way. I don't know. I guess that's how the theology.
We can't. If we cannot rationalize it, then we cannot know. So we can just conclude.
I mean, that's not actually true. God could just make.
How do we know things without rationalizing it?
I mean, I guess they could just he could send down books for us to read.
What?
Like the Bible. Like the Bible.
You don't think we rationalize when using the Bible or any book?
Yeah, but that's not God Himself. That's the Bible.
Yeah, but we rationalize God's existence from the Bible. You don't think we do that?
No, not inherently, because I mean, look. If you're reading the Bible, it's made by humans who also have subjective morals. So they're just trying to eliminate what God is not. So we're not necessarily describing God, but just trying to equivocate what God is to what we know. You know?
Yeah. How do you know what God is not?
How do we know what God is not? I guess we're just. Well, I don't know. It really determines.
So God's existence is unknowable. We can't know anything about God. Why does God exist? You can't tell me, so we can conclude.
What? That's just a conclusion. That's just wrong. I ain't gonna lie. I support my argument.
If we cannot rationalize anything about God, then we cannot know if God exists. Can we just conclude?
That means in a possible world, God is not vacuous. Therefore, He exists.
What?
Yeah, He's not vacuous in one possible world, so He exists.
Vacuous is irrelevant here, right? Look,
how is it relevant?
As long as you grant that God is logical, then God is the type of thing that cannot exist in any possible world.
You said what?
As long as you grant that God's illogical, you grant that God is the type of thing that cannot exist in any possible world.
No, I said that what's the name? You can rationalize from another possible world. That's what my argument was. That's why I said that He's not vacuous.
Look, if something is logical, then in all possible worlds, He's irrationalizable.
What? Say it again.
If something is illogical, He is irrationalizable in all possible worlds. That's why it's square.
Whoa. So then, what for humans? So what is it for humans which can rationalize more than we do? Then that means that there are virtues of illogicality. Let me finish talking. That means that their virtues of illogicality doesn't match our virtues of illogicality. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. So that's the difference between
logic. That means that just because you're logical,
so logic and epistemology are two different things, right? I can hold that. I don't know. Some other humans will have vastly greater epistemological access than we do. That doesn't necessarily mean that their laws of logic will change. Laws of logic stay the same in all possible worlds, right? So that's irrelevant.
Can you prove that laws of logic are the same in every possible world?
Yeah, it's self-evidently true.
How is it self-evident?
The laws of logic are taken to be static axioms, so they wouldn't change.
Yeah, within our world, because that's on the basis of our logic, based on our rationality. I told you.
Yeah. So based on our.
Let me finish talking. Let me finish talking. We know there's a version of humans who rationalize better than us.
I'm not interested in you rambling. So just to be clear, based on what we know, right? Based on what we know, okay, the laws of logic do not change. Okay, so by what reason do you have to
debunk that notion?
Hold on a second. By what reason do you have to believe that the laws of logic change in any possible world? What reason do you have?
Okay. All I'm trying to say is, right, like I said, you said illogicality. You said illogicality is essentially the opposing of the laws of logic. So if we're taking that virtue to be true, we know there's a possible world when humans are more advanced than us and they actually understand concepts more than us. So maybe they understand a virtue that we did not rationalize yet. And we said hence was illogical because we didn't rationalize it yet. Therefore, it would contradict the whole virtues of the laws of logic. Because the laws of logic would be wrong. I think it contradicts logicality. It's basically the opposite of illogicality.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just didn't understand. I can grant to you that there's more advanced humans. And I can grant to you that, I don't know, maybe we've been getting logic wrong all of this time, blah, blah, blah. But
that means it now the laws of logic, so it wouldn't apply to every possible
again. So look, it's not possible. That's what you're not understanding. Based on what we know now about logic, it's not possible that in another possible world, logic would be wrong or logic would have some sort of error about it. That's what we know now. I can grant you that maybe everything that we know is just completely wrong, and in actual fact, logic is false and blah, 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 blah. But what we know now seems to say this is impossible. So I'm asking you again, what reason do you have to believe that logic is wrong in some possible world?
That literally matches my diction of illogicality. Therefore, he's not really truly illogical, or rather just unconceived. You can't understand that. He's not illogic or illogic. That's what I'm saying. You can't say anything. unless we actually understand God more. So that's why I said. That's why I said a lot of logic differed depending on the possible world.
Okay, do you want to conclude? I can go on everything you just said. That doesn't change anything. You want to conclude?
I don't remember everything I said, so you could just like cut off.
Yeah, look. So just to summarize, like pretty much, the debate was God's existence. He concedes that God is illogical, and that means that we cannot rationalize God, so we can't know anything about God. So
I
I don't know
can't
how
conclude it.
just calm down. I don't know how he's going to prove that God exists if we cannot know God to exist in the first place. Just seems like wishful thinking. I already granted that God's like
I just read
possible
his
that
negative
no one
theology.
exists. Yeah, negative theology supposes that you know what God is not. We cannot know anything about God, so like
I
that's
already
wrong.
debunked that claim. Right? I already debunked your definition. Like, yeah, I literally told you how we just deny God and we just use the Bible and stuff like that. Humans make their morals.
Yeah, we use reasoning for that as well. We reason from the Bible to know what God is not. But if we can't know what God is not, how do you know what the Bible's saying is true?
I look. Essentially, God essentially just God has the ability to just influence humans in their morals.
How do you know? How do you know?
Anyway, yeah. So basically, I think Nemesis lost.
On Skibbity,
Wait. If this was all said in the debate, then we like talk about it now.
No, because there's no need. Because that's conclusions. What are you talking
anyway,
about?
sayonara.
And yeah, I think.
Oh yeah.
Wait, where's C?
I bet.
I think Nemesis. I mean, I think C won. Nemesis, he lost. He suck. Anyway, Blade, yeah, come beat up Nemesis, Blade.
Who's Blade?
Some random female that's gonna beat you up.
Alright, bro.